Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Romans Podcast.
Yeah,
Myself,
hi, man.
I have Amar and Punk joining today. How are we?
Good, good. How are
Good.
you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Been little occupied over the last couple of days with the new edition. I've adopted a puppy recently, so that's keeping me busy and occupied. It's like taking care of another child in its own right, but yeah, enjoying it. It's been a lifelong dream to have my own puppy, and eventually it happened.
Wow, that's fantastic. We hope to see the puppy, the new addition to the family, sometime soon.
Yeah, the plan is to introduce him on the Romans podcast one day, and hopefully
Yeah,
Rhymes will help me. His name is Rhymes, and hopefully he'll help us out a little bit on some of the stats and stuff,
We
and that
can,
helps Punk ease off a little bit as well.
we need it. We have been looking for the fourth member for quite a long time now, so I think we have got him.
Yeah, absolutely. And he doesn't, he can't say no to us.
absolutely, man.
Yes. But yeah, back to the cricketing world. Obviously, before we move forward, and I just want to wish Makar Sankranti, Pongal, and all the different naming conventions we have. But there's a big festival and for a lot of states in India today. So wish everyone has a good time with their family and friends. Just want to quickly wish them on behalf of our Romans, and then kind of look forward to some of the developments that we heard from BCCI that come up recently. Post which we'll quickly review the T20 squad for the England tour of India, and then we'll also look at the upcoming Champions Trophy. But prior to that, obviously the ODI said that India plan to play against England as well. So really quickly, I'm going to get started here with the guidelines, right? So I'm actually reading out what the BCCI what planning to introduce or they've introduced. So essentially, what it says is the BCCI is planning to reintroduce the pre-COVID rule, and what they mean by that is wives and family members will not be allowed to travel with the players for the Indian team for the entire tour. So per se, if the tour lasts 45 days, then the family can stay with the player for only 14 days. So that's very high level. So essentially, what they're saying is no longer you can have your family and wives around all the time. So if they really have to travel with you because you're away for a certain extended period, then they can join you for a couple of weeks is what they've introduced. And apparently this is the case during COVID. And COVID, obviously, we know there's a lot of restrictions, but maybe your thoughts on I know BGT would obviously push the selectors and obviously the management to sort of come hard on the players, but is that the right call? Amar, I'm looking at you first.
I don't know. I mean, where is this coming from? I mean, this used to be the rule, some time ago, and initially, I can remember like Sachin era, and
Mhm.
that time, and prior to that as well, wives were allowed to travel. The family were allowed to travel with the players, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, uh, I think we got some bad results, and then it was stopped, and then again it was started, and then now again after the BGT, it has come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Are the families stopping? Um, Team to be together, or I don't know really. I mean, what to make of it.
Mhm.
Is it going to make players more focused on the game and the performances? Maybe. I mean, my take on this is, it shouldn't be like that. But if it is distracting the players, then very much it should be done. But it has to be on player themselves to conduct themselves and make themselves focus on the tour, on their performances. So it's very unfortunate, but if it is like a disciplinary action, then I guess that's what it has to be done.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, no, there's a lot to kind of read into this, in terms of what triggered this. Is this the right thing to do? And obviously, if this is actually coming from the management themselves, so is this another rumor, or also on the flip side, I hate to say this, is this another PR stunt to kind of divert some of the heat that's coming towards the players? But Punk, I'm looking at you. What's your stance on this?
No, no, it's a good move. There's a reason behind it. So, like, say this was pre-COVID, right? And during COVID, as everybody knows, right, you had this quarantine and other people, right, you had like a circle. So within that circle, you couldn't move in and move out. So having like a 2 weeks and a long tour, so it's not like, it's a complete ban. You still have your partners and your wives, being there. But see, cricket is like a team sport. And
Mhm.
when you have a team sport, you need to have a team bonding. Like, when you're working in a corporate as well, right? Once a year, we have this team bonding exercises where I remember, like, when I was working in AXA or somewhere, that we had like building Legos. So, different sets of Legos given to us. Now, I'm talking about this, grown up men, and you had different teams and you had to build a structure out of it. So what happens is when you have like team sport, you need to have team bonding. It's not only during the field but also the field as well. So each other players' strengths, and that helps as well. When especially in team sport, right? If I know somebody is struggling with somebody, like say a Virat Kohli, right? He's one of the greatest batsmen, right? But
Mhm.
say a young junior batsman is there, uh, during the when you are practicing or your nets or even your say within the game, you won't have an opportunity to talk to Virat for a youngster to go around and ask him like how can I improve my batting, or how can I improve my fielding. This is where you need that personal space when you are like chilling out on a dinner or watching a movie together, or evening space when you're not with your family. So then that's where people who have knowledge, experience, they help the younger kids to help and guide them, in those conditions. So see, most of the players when you're playing at home, it's fine. You don't need that support. But when you're on away too, somebody who's visited Australia, say Kohli, who has been there from 2014.
Mhm.
Uh, and even before that as well, right? So he would have a lot of knowledge, on the batting conditions and other things, which you can only give when you are like, off field, or even in your net sessions. You won't have that opportunity for a youngster like a Jaiswal or a Nitish Reddy. They've done well, but even like a bowler as well, right? So when they have this personal bonding time outside of cricket field,
Mhm.
outside of training, you tend to ask questions, which we do as friends. We go out when you're having a chill time, right? We're just like, how to go about this, because that's the time where a person is relaxed, he's not tense on the ground, or he's not concentrating. So it helps, and I think this is a good thing. It was always there. There's nothing new. It just needed a trigger point to get this back. So I'm very happy that this has come back. It's good for the team, and it's
Mhm.
good for all team sports. So
Absolutely. And Punk, just quickly, so Suman just sent a compliment for you, which is appearing on the screen right now. He really likes your haircut. Yeah. But
I
yeah,
thanks.
think
so
you're
a
right.
couple of things why we're on the conversation, right? Saman actually shared a couple of really interesting thoughts, but one of the things I really got my attention is a bit like what's going on in the corporate world, right? Return to office, no more family lives, like be there 5 days a week. Essentially, looks like BCCI is also like kind of following the same thing, like no more families and on travel and stuff. But yeah, Punk, you made a really good point, right? On a serious note, right? Long tours away from home, it's equally important for the players to obviously have that family time around, like because they do a lot of travel, especially Indian teams, right? Because you have the Test series, the T20s, ODI format, and then your IPL that sort of takes like 2 months of your life, literally. So it's equally important to have your families around. But yes, again, another piece also to highlight is as much as what we do, like corporate world, we go to work every day, come home. But there are those odd days where like a Thursday night or like an odd weekend where you go hang out with your colleagues, friends, whatever that is. It's equally important, and maybe the cricketers sort of can follow the same thing. As much as you still spend like all the time together, even if your family's around, you can still go do like I hate to say this, like a boys' night out, or if it's women's cricket and a girls' night out, and then have the families gel on that particular day, and that will probably help get the team together as well. Maybe a thought, something they can consider.
Just want to add something. This is a personal experience, right? So like this is way back 10 years, when I joined, right? And we had like few seniors in our work, right? So on a Thursday when you go out, like, have few drinks here or there, what happens is, like, you tend to bond, and then when you're in the work, right, you feel a bit scared asking somebody to help you out with something. But once you create that personal bonding, then you have a better approach, it helps. So that's something which I think so this should do with the juniors and seniors having a drinks together. Then you have a personal a bonding, the person. So you don't feel that you have the Indian culture of, like, telling bhaiyas and Virat bhaiya or Rohit bhaiya and all that, right? So if I ask him, like, if my stance is right or it's wrong, then you will feel kya soch raha hoga mere bare mein, right? But then when you have, like, bhaiya क्या मेरा स्टैंड सही है, क्या मैंने सही ड्राइव किया, आपको क्या लगता है मुझे कट खेलना चाहिए या पुल खेलना चाहिए, आपको क्या लगता है? तो दैट वे that bond will happen, right?
Sure.
When you have on the
Yeah.
drinks, and he will say, and being a senior pro and that experience, he will be able to, like, for me, if I want to ask Amar, if I'm playing correct, so he say, no, you're not playing the V, you are just pulling a cut. Like, for example, he's an opener batsman, right? I'm middle order, so he will help me out, right? If I don't have a personal bonding, I come on the ground, hi Amar, hi, there's that, and then we go out. We'll never gel together. We will never know, what is wrong with my batting. Or like we play tennis, for example, right? If I have a personal bond, then I can tell you your serve is wrong, or you're not lifting the ball high enough. The personal bonding, you can tell that person, and the other person won't feel bad about it because you've created a bond with that person. So something which I think this is a good move.
But the thing is, I think it only makes sense if you allow the family to be around, but you don't have to cut off the family. You can still mingle with your teammates. You can still go out. You're on the field. You're training. Even have dinners and lunches and everything. But I think what BCCI is trying to do is not take away that time, or not spend all the time with the family, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
this is going to be interesting. I have a question to you.
Yeah.
Say your wife is around.
Yeah.
How would you avoid, like, if she wants to go for dinner every night with you?
No, that's on a professional level. You have to. No, that's what I'm saying. That you have to
go out with us.
No, you at times you can't, but you're on a professional tour. You're not on a leisure tour, right?
So when the BCCI is allowed you, and there is no restriction. Oh, you can be with me. Why you have to go?
No,
but if there's a restriction somewhere,
That,
only 2 weeks out of the 45 days, then you have a point.
But it's not 2 weeks, isn't it?
This is a personal question. It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks on a long tour. They're allowing 14 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That there has to be something. It only makes sense when it is a limited, either time period or if it is like, because it's on personal. What if you on a personal level, if a player is only with the team but he doesn't want to gel up with anyone, what would you do in that case, right? So you can't force him to do something which he doesn't want to.
But, no, absolutely, yeah.
But you're just giving an opportunity for the person to look around, yeah. But what I'm trying to say here is, like, because there's a restriction, so then you tend to, it's like human brains, right? It's an effort to get things going and trying to get people together.
Exactly. And that's why I use the word "is unfortunate," because it has to be forced upon. Yeah. Rather than that, the players should have upon themselves to do this. Really, I mean, you should not be forcing around, or should not have to be forced around. That's my take on it.
I'd like, you don't want to
I mean, we don't dwell too much into it, right? Maybe a couple of closing.
Good overall,
closing comments in terms of, like, my take on this, and to Punk's point, right? Sometimes, without, the idea is here not to promote alcohol or anything, but his take, the way I've interpreted it is, sometimes that bonding, the gel does happen when having those night outs, and it certainly worked for me on most of the occasions. So I think I'm with Punk on this.
Or just the night before the game, is it?
Absolutely, yeah. It really helped. Like,
you get extra turn.
I used to get the best out of me the following morning, like, playing while you're hungover. Yeah, definitely, like, helps.
Extra revs on the ball.
You can gel over mango lassi as well,
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you want to mix with mango lassi, they all count. And
Absolutely.
also another piece that again, Suman just made a point about, yeah, the upcoming UK tour, and for some of the wives, who has a visa, and obviously, they probably made a good summer plan, go spend summer holidays in the UK, and you don't want to ruin that for them. But it's what it is. But yeah, another piece that really stood out for me is us obviously talking about how important it is for wives to travel with the husbands, and so that the husbands obviously when they need that private time, the wives around and stuff. But just on the note, if you're provided an opportunity for a couple of weeks to travel somewhere for work, and there's an opportunity for the wife to travel along, what would you do?
Well, it depends on if you let the wife know or not. If you let
Fair
her know,
enough.
then there's no choice, isn't it?
So he's just
Exactly, exactly
switched
my
around.
exactly my point. Exactly my point. I think all
Yeah,
three of us, if we had the opportunity, we'll just sneak out. It's a business trip, no
yeah.
families allowed. Let's
That's
get out of
that's it.
here.
That's it. That's it. It's only for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
it's only for 2 weeks. Yeah,
so BCS have done a good thing. They balanced it.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think they're probably doing the right thing. For people
Yeah.
just taken out of context in terms of what's going on here. Also, another piece, a funny meme before we close out. So apparently, there's memes that's going on where Anushka Sharma and Ritika Sachdev were really upset of because they're getting penalized here just because of what Rohit and Kohli were doing, just because they couldn't deliver on the pitch. Now
Or not doing.
they're yeah,
Yeah.
not doing anything on the pitch, so their vacations are now
Yeah.
cut short.
Yeah, it's basically like, those two, Virat and Rohit, should have got sacked. Instead, the wives have got sacked from the tour.
Hmm. And also, yeah, that's another thing. So someone just added, saying a big statement is all players to travel in the same bus. Was that not happening? And if so, why? I mean, from what we've noticed, at least from what I've noticed, they still tend to all take the same bus, but I don't know what happens, obviously, because some of the YouTube videos that I've seen historically, players have preference where someone like Yuvraj always wants to go sit at the back, where some of the younger players were forced to sit at the front. So I don't know the same bonding actually happens on the bus. Obviously, unfortunately, yeah, we not we don't have that insight to the extent we would like to, but yeah, it's all good. Underline headline for me is I think yes, the bonding needs to happen, but long tours, I don't think I don't think they should be cutting short the families. I mean,
In fact,
yeah.
I do know one thing that Yashasvi Jaswal, for one
Mhm.
of the tours, he didn't travel with the team in the team bus because
But that's for
Rohit
different
Sharma.
reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's what happened.
Anyways,
So that says that the team does travel in
yeah.
the all together in the bus.
Oh, unless Rohit was the only one on the bus, and because Jaiswal didn't show up, so he just got pissed and he just decided to leave. But yeah,
yeah.
maybe yeah. I think we spent a good amount of time on that. Another big news, right, that came out is obviously we all sort of anticipated, right? Some of the senior players might be forced into go play some of the Ranchi games, or even go play some county cricket to sort of build for the next couple of months. And then obviously we've seen some videos come out on socials where Rohit Sharma showed up at the Mumbai Ranchi training today, and then there's also news about the Delhi squad for the upcoming Ranchi season, and then apparently Virat and Pant are part of that squad as well. So anything we should dwell into this in terms of what your thoughts are, or is it just again another, again, I hate to say this, is this something really the players wanted it, or is this kind of forced onto the players, or is this something again coming from the PR saying time to get out there, make people feel you really want
Um,
this sort of thing.
are they going to play matches, or we're just
Well,
they're
they
just
are
in the
being
next?
considered for the squad, so that doesn't necessarily mean they're in the playing 11 or even the playing 15, whatever that squad's going to be, right, towards the end. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That,
until unless they play, I would take this as a pinch of with a pinch of salt, really.
Yeah.
so, like, I'll,
Uh,
I'll just go back to something which, Anil Kumble, right? He was the coach for some time
mhm,
when Kohli was captain.
mhm,
And one of the reasons why Kumble was dropped was he had a mandatory requirement that anybody who got injured had to go back and play a domestic cricket to
Yeah.
prove his fitness, irrespective whether the person is a senior member
Mhm.
or a junior member. uh, and they had to come back, prove the fitness through a domestic match, and then join the team, even if it was a minor injury or something. So that's something which Kumble tried to do. He was sacked
Mhm.
technically for that reason. There were some other
Yeah.
reasons as well. Kumble was like a hardened master, right?
Mhm.
And if you see his record as a coach, a lot of series India won. I think India never lost a test match when he was coach. I don't remember any, or maybe one test match. That's it. But he had a brilliant record in terms of bilateral series till we reached the Champions Trophy final.
Mhm.
So this was a factor previously. You see Sachin also had gone down and played Ranji. One of the most striking thing was if you see Saurav Ganguly when he was dropped from the team, and you can
Mhm.
see the bricks behind him as famous, and he was practicing with the bricks wicket which we do.
Mhm.
You see, so there's nothing wrong, but what I've seen is last maybe from when Vinod, the CAG guy who became the interim director of cricket, there was
Sure.
a lot of leeway given to the Indian players,
Mhm.
the senior guys, which was not there previous to that. If you remember, Lakshmi, everybody has played domestic cricket. Sachin playing for Ranji, and we've seen that whenever they were even in the peaks, they used to
Yeah.
go play and come back, and that's why they're good players of spin as well. India, as
Mhm.
of now,
Mhm.
somebody who's played like say 10, 15 years back,
Mhm.
we don't have good players of spin.
Mhm.
uh, Kohli or Rohit, they don't play spin that well. It's because they don't have that opportunity to play in those domestic cricket matches where some of the youngsters they have good, but they don't get an opportunity to play international. So playing in a Ranji match, irrespective, and it's not like you are taking a place for for the whole Ranji season, right? You might be playing one or two matches, but in the dust ball pitches, right? And this most of the matches would be later on. It would help your Indian experienced campaigners, especially with the spin. So I I feel it's a very good thing, and
Yeah.
thanks to BCCI, they got an
Mhm.
opportunity with this BGT thing, and they've got back the axe down, getting
Mhm.
them aligned because a lot of people in the Indian team, right? They're superstars,
Mhm.
and they did not turn up for a lot of things. And one reason, like you look Shreyas Iyer,
Mhm.
the other guy I forgot, the opener of Mumbai Indians. What's
Yeah.
his name? The left-hander.
Gaikwad.
Uh,
The left-hander for Mumbai Indians.
yeah,
Kishan.
wicketkeeper.
Kishan.
Yes,
Kishan.
Kishan.
Yes.
They,
Yeah.
they was, they were penalized for
Mhm.
not going back and playing. So
Yeah.
if they are being penalized,
Mhm.
so what's wrong in with the senior members? And they haven't done something wonders. And I've
Mhm.
given you the stats in terms of
Yes.
Rohit Kohli.
Yeah.
They're way
Mhm.
below 30, right? For last 5 years, man. It's ridiculous. Jinke
Mhm.
Rahane has a better average. Cheteshwar
Yeah.
Pujara has a better average, and they get dropped. But the
Mhm.
superstars of Indian cricket do not get dropped. I'm not talking about ODI and thing. I'm talking
Mhm.
about the Test cricket, and that's something which Ranji helps. And
Yeah.
the best spinners of spin, Cheteshwar, right? And even in BGT for both 2018 and the 22 series, he was one of the highest run getters, right? And man of the series for the 18 series as well.
Mhm.
They go back, play in Ranji,
Mhm.
and they come back. And you see, that's where they improve on their spin as well. But our superstar players, they are more of, if you're a cricketer, if you get an opportunity, you go and play, right? You do not
Mhm.
just go and if you improve your this thing. And one of the reasons why I see the decline in forget external tours and away tours. Look at the
Mhm.
Indian tours as well. None of your star batsmen are good players of spin because they don't go to domestic and grind them out. Get an opportunity to play with those dust ball pitches. So it's a
Mhm.
very good thing, and I hope this is going to go forward. And if there's an opportunity for a player to go and play Ranji, they should go
Mhm.
and play. You're not taking a youngster's space because you're going to play one or two matches, right?
Mhm.
And you're going to help your team to go forward as well. So I hope that this is a good thing which the BCCI has done.
No, sure. Amar, your take on this. Do you agree? And the reasons I say that is because Punk, I know you made a great point about Sachin Sera, all of them going back to playing Ranji and stuff. but then the current superstars don't do it. But one of the things I want to add here is, don't forget there's a third format now. When Sachin was probably at the back end of his career when T20 came into existence, but for these guys, like, it's in there from day one. Even before Virat Kohli played for India, he's playing IPL, so that's another 2 months of your year schedule. So there's a lot of cricket being played, right? So for them, the only opportunity where they can obviously go away and spend some time with themselves or families is probably the Ranji season where there's no international cricket. So maybe, I'm just throwing that out. That could be potentially why they wouldn't have the opportunity, or maybe even though they wanted to, they couldn't. I don't know, but maybe the three formats, and for some of these players who play all three formats, unlike a Rahane or a Pujara, maybe it's like too much. Maybe that's why they'll have to split the squads and dedicate certain players for certain squads, like certain formats, a bit like what England did. And maybe that might work wonders. But yeah, Amar, your take on that?
I think it depends on, my take is it depends on what stage of his career that player is in.
Mhm.
If that player is, say just made it to the squad a couple of years in, and then there's a decline in form, he should
Yeah.
definitely go back. He should definitely score runs domestically, and then come back and start performing. If
Mhm.
that player um, is towards the end of his career and is almost certainly going down, I
Mhm.
mean, it's a good thing to go back and play, but
Mhm.
um, don't play for a longer time, because that's not going to help you, and that's not going to help uh, anyone whose spot you're taking in the domestic circuit.
Sure.
Um, saying that, if you are taking a long time,
Mhm.
that means you're not going to come back anyways. Are you going to make a comeback towards the end of your career? Maybe not. So I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, just play a couple of matches. That's fine.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you want to play in the in the county cricket, that's also fine. But I would
Mhm.
say it's more important for that player if he's in the middle of his career, not towards the
Mhm.
end. That's my take on
Sure.
it.
No, I don't know if there's a comment that came to. So I think that's Saman raising a good point, right? In terms of why is the batting coach not accountable, and should that not be his role to obviously communicate that to the players?
It is definitely his role, and
Mhm.
it's not just the batting coach, is the head coach as well, because
Mhm.
when you're making a strategy and you're communicating to your players that this is the strategy you're going ahead with,
Mhm.
um, first of all, you don't do what we saw in the BGT test, that don't keep on changing your strategy and your spots, and just to kind of fit in your star players. It
Mhm.
has to the players have to fit in the strategy, not the strategy according to the players. So
Mhm.
it's definitely batting coach's role. The batting coach has to, I mean, the head coach has to make a strategy with the batting coach, and it's batting coach's job to make that work, to talk to the players. um, I mean, whatever has happened, if it hasn't worked well, if the batting is failing, it's the
Mhm.
failure of the batting coach as well. So, yeah, definitely, the batting coach has to be, held accountable for that.
Mhm. No,
That's
absolutely right. And again, the point that Punk made. Sometimes the batting coaches are not as consistent or have the sort of longevity that like some of the players did. So even sometimes maybe for the batting coaches, it's difficult to go communicate to some of the star players. And oh, by the way, I think you doing this might help you. Maybe I don't know. Because every time the coach changes, obviously he brings his own set of coaches with him, and then all of a sudden the strategy is different, the approach is different, and then they're probably focusing on the younger players more and not the senior players or the so-called star players. But yeah, obviously that doesn't help either. But yeah, that's probably something the players have to adopt and kind of move forward.
Yeah, just to add to the batting coach, right? So just give
Mhm.
you a example in the BGT series, right? So you had
Mhm.
Abhishek is Nair, right? He was the batting coach for India.
Yes,
So
and Ryan Tenduskarter as well. I think Ryan
yeah.
Tenduskarter is, yeah,
So
the
I do
primary
know,
batting coach.
like, from
Mhm.
some news and other things, that Abhishek Nair did help Nitish and Jaiswal in terms of the batting stance and the way they played. So just to give you a view of that as well. So
Yeah.
not all batsmen will take it in the right stride, but the guys who are keen to learn would take it, right? And Nitish was struggling with short pitch ball before the tour of Australia, and Abhishek Nair did help him out, and I think so even with Jaiswal as well, right? So there was this where Jaiswal has a tendency to lunge forward, and his back foot drive was a challenge. So that if you look into his previous tours, and then there was slight adjustment to his back foot drive as well. So it's just to let you know that the batting coach can do as much as it is, right? But it also depends on these players, how keen they are to
Yeah.
learn from them. So these are few things which I've watched these two players in terms of the stances and the way they played. So there was definitely a technical shift in terms of how they batted pre VGT and post VGT. Just to let you know that. So
Yeah,
And
absolutely
also, I
right.
mean, just on that question again, that a couple of players. What do you do with Kohli, and what do you do with Rishabh Pant? Because Rishabh Pant was playing well, and one bad shot, you know, that was
Yeah.
that was the mother of bad shots, really. So, I mean, what do you do with that? I don't think
Yeah.
that's and a batting coach can do anything. But
Yeah.
where batting coach can do something is the Kohli problem. If he's like Pankaj is saying, if he's ready to listen.
Yeah, but on a lighter note, maybe I'll blame the bowling coach. Like he's probably bowling Kohli all day that outside the off stump and making him play. So he just took that whatever they say like you do well in the nets. He just carried that to the pitch. So that's probably what he did. So I blame Moni Mocker for this. Stop bowling those outside the off stumps balls to Kohli and let him play his game.
I might as well blame the bus driver for this.
But yeah,
what
I think
about the
enough said
partners
it.
though?
Yeah, I really feel for them. Like
Not anymore.
I think they got penalized for like it's not the mistake at all, and they got penalized, and yeah, it's very upsetting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
they need to get
maybe
some performance reviews done.
Yeah. I think we'll have to obviously let's see how things unfold in terms of obviously I don't know how much of this is like it's going to be implemented versus what would happen because things can change soon before you realize
Yeah.
because what we've noticed is some of these players have like a say in a lot of things and before we realize the whole structure might change. But yeah, we'll see on how things unfold. Let's really quick shift focus to the upcoming T20 series, right? So obviously England touring India. There's in fact 5 T20s starting next week, in fact on the 22nd. So the squad, right? Really quickly, let me read out the squad, and then you pick your playing 11. Suryakumar Yadav, Sky, as we anticipated, is the skipper. Sanju Samson in the squad. Abhishek Sharma, Tilak Verma, Hardik Pandya, Rinku Singh, NKR, Akshar Patel, who is the deputy to Sky, which I think is a really good move because he's done a lot for Indian cricket recently, especially at the T20 World Cup. And then we have Ashit Rana, Arshdeep Singh, Mohammad Shami, a big inclusion for the upcoming T20s. And then you have Varun Chakravarti, Ravi Bishnoi, Sundar, and Dhruv Jural. So that's the squad from the playing so the squad from the 15. One of the biggest omissions, I personally think, should have been considered as Rutraj Gaikwad. He's done exceptionally well in the shorter format, be it for Mumbai or be it for CSK. So were you guys surprised not seeing Gaikwad's name in that 15-man squad?
It looks like they have pretty much gone with the last T20 team.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would like to see Ruturaj, in all three formats, really, to be honest. But it's just, I don't know, the squad this time is so tough. Like, so maybe he didn't make the cut just about. But me personally would like to see him in all three formats.
Absolutely. Punk, your take on Gaikwad?
I would be surprised if he was there. I feel like there's a personal bias going with Ruturaj.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not like just one season. Season after season, he's been performing, and he
Mhm.
does not get an opportunity. A bit ridiculous, but in terms of, so there's one thing which could be especially for T20s, and what I see is maybe this is something which is going back to the Dhoni era, of 2007 and 2011. If you see the
Mhm.
squad, we had a number of players who were multi skills, right?
Yeah.
Who could bowl and bat.
Mhm.
So, especially in T20, you need not six, but you need at least seven of them who
Mhm.
can bowl. So can
Yeah.
pitch in 1 or 2 overs. You see,
Mhm.
most of the team, and like the one which we won, you had batting till 8 because you had like a few all rounders, right?
Mhm.
So you need that all rounders in T20. CSK is one prime example of a team who has reached like around 10 finals out of the 15,
Mhm.
16, right? And if you
Sure.
see the squad, they have
Mhm.
multi skilled players,
Mhm.
and that is and Australia, you feel like Pakistan, a lot of the West Indies, for example, you see a
Mhm.
lot. Chris Gill used to bowl, so I'm just giving you an idea that
Yeah.
for T20 you need that multi-skilled players, and that's what I see in terms of the way they are trying to pick the squad.
Mhm.
Abhishek Sharma can bowl. Jaiswal also can do some leg spin. Tilak Verma can bowl. Hardik can bowl. Rinku Singh is one like just a player, but then you can see Reddy,
Mhm.
Akshar, Rana can bat. Arshdeep also can bat as well. Shami can bat. So
Mhm.
um, you see the way they are picking up. Shami is an exception because he's just that they're trying to bring him for the see his fitness.
Mhm.
But you see Sundar as well, right?
Yeah.
He can bat, right? And you will see if any other players who come in, you will see
Mhm.
like they will have this skill of bowling as well, who can at least pitch in an over here or there, right? So I
Yeah.
think so. That's what the Indian team is looking at going
Mhm.
towards, especially on T20, not in the
Yeah.
ODI format, but especially in T20, they're looking to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, right? Obviously, the way it goes is obviously, they want, a player to obviously, at least do a couple of things, like, be like, a wicketkeeper batsman, or a batsman who can bowl, or a bowler who can actually
Yeah,
pinch hit and score some runs down the order, right? But then also at the
yeah.
same time, it's equally important, we have those pure batters who can obviously, hold one end, like, play the strokes, like, build partnerships. So that's what I think, the likes of, like, Jaiswal, who's not obviously in the squad. I'm starting to believe maybe he's just rested because obviously of the long tour in Australia, and then upcoming ODIs in the CT. The same with, like, Ruturaj as well. Like, not that he's been rested, but he's sort of the players, like, you need in your squad in the top, like, a 3 or 4 to kind of hold up one end. But yeah, really, like, let's look into, like, your playing 11, right? So maybe Punk, I'll go. I'll start with you first. Who's your playing 11 for the T20s? At least maybe the first
So
one.
I will definitely like so Samson is going to open.
Hmm.
This is going to be Sharma's series in terms of they're going to see if he's going to perform, because over the last few series he hasn't performed that well.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, he could be dropped if he does not perform.
Sure.
And Jaiswal would take his place. Technically, Jaiswal is going to open anyways for T20
Hmm.
going forward, but for this is going to be Samson,
Hmm.
Sharma opening, Tilak
Hmm.
at 3, Surya at
Hmm.
4. Then you will have Hardik at 5.
Hmm.
Singh near Rinku would play as well.
Hmm. 6.
So that would be the 6.
Yes.
Then Akshar, Reddy.
Akshar at 7,
Uh,
Reddy at 8. Okay. Hmm.
yeah. Um, yeah, Reddy above Akshar. Either of,
Hmm.
if it
Yeah. Sure.
depends, like if you left, right, if Rinku gets out,
Yeah.
then they might send
Hmm.
Akshar. So it
Yeah.
depends on the, the situation.
Yeah.
And then I see Arshdeep definitely,
9. Hmm.
Chakrabarti there, and Shami.
10.
So did I get all 10? Did I
Yeah,
get
you got
10? Yeah.
11. So essentially, your bowlers are Shami, and you got
Arshdeep.
Asdeep Singh as your seamers. And the third
Yes.
seamer potentially would be Hardik Pandya, and maybe NKR can bowl a few
And
overs.
NKR also 4. So
Yeah,
these
and
are
your
the 4.
spinners, yes, Akshar
Spinners would
Patel,
be
Abhishek
uh,
Sharma, Varun Chakravarti.
Varun Chakravarti.
Yeah.
So
And from what I've heard in the memes and some news going on socials, is apparently Rinku Singh also started bowling as well, because he started believing like if he
Much the
doesn't bowl,
skills.
they might not consider
Yeah.
him. So he started developing the skill
Yeah.
as well. Okay,
You
interesting.
need
Yeah,
to.
but I sort of see like most of those players are like they're picked by themselves in terms of like someone like
Oh,
Tilak Verma, like yeah.
Shami is going to play maybe the first 2 or 3 matches.
Hmm.
Then see his fitness, then he moves out. Then
Yeah,
you might have Harshit Rana coming in
sure.
as your the other fast bowler. So definitely you'll have 2 fast bowlers.
Hmm.
Uh, your key spinner will be Chakrabarti. He's going to be your number 1 spinner,
Sure.
and Akshar. So you have this 4 key bowlers, and then you'll have the other all rounders with NKR and Reddy. I don't see like a Sundar in this currently.
Sure.
If
Mhm.
if they bring in Sundar, they'll have to drop Reddy.
Yeah, depends. They need
At
an
some
additional
point.
extra spinner or like yeah, how the squad
Yeah.
looks.
So, but yeah, that's like based on the pitch and the situation.
Mhm.
If that's your playing 11 roundabout.
Yeah, Amar, you're playing 11.
Yeah, very much similar. I mean, with the squad,
Hmm.
looking at the squad, there's not much room to maneuver there. So
Hmm.
I do agree with Punk here that Sanju Samson, as we know, has done brilliantly
Hmm.
opening the batting. So he's there. Abhishek Sharma, as Punk was saying, that this could be a series that could establish him as an opener, or maybe he will give way to either Rituraj or Jaiswal. Mostly
Hmm.
Jaiswal. We're looking at all format player going forward. He's the next superstar,
Yeah.
if that superstar thing is still there,
Yeah.
of Indian cricket. So he might come in. But yeah,
Hmm.
personally, I mean, he has shown Abhishek Sharma has shown a lot of promise, and
Hmm.
he's my kind of favorite opener. We need one that kind of player who can attack to the opposition and totally destroy and take the game away from the
Yeah.
opposition. So he can do that.
Hmm.
Only caveat is you need to make runs. You need to make
Yeah.
runs for the team, and you need to make runs for yourself as well. So he needs to do something here about that.
Hmm.
Of course, Tilak Verma has cemented his place with his
Hmm.
brilliant performance in the last series, so he's playing
Hmm.
at number 3. Then we have Sky at number 4, Hardik Pandya at number 5, um, Rinku Singh. I would keep him at number 6. Then
Hmm.
Nitish Reddy comes in. It will be interesting to see. I mean, obviously we have more confidence on his batting, but he'll
Hmm.
have to probably bowl at some point when there's an assistance with the pitch as well. So
Sure.
he is there at number 7.
Hmm.
Then I have Aksar, because I think with him being the vice captain, I think it's given that he will be mostly
Yeah.
played. So yeah,
Hmm.
and then I have Arshdeep Singh,
Hmm. 9,
Shami,
10.
and Ravi Bishnoi. I think Ravi
You pick
Bishnoi
Ravi
has
Bishnoi over
has
Varun
yes,
Chakravarti. Okay. Hmm.
yes. He's
Sure.
shown a lot of promise, and
Hmm.
um, we have seen he's done brilliantly. At times, been unfortunate, but
Hmm.
he's line length, and he's tricked the batsman. So I think he's going to be very interesting, and I think in my playing 11 he's there.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the game
Just
unfolds.
to add,
Hmm.
Tilak Verma also pulls off spin.
Yeah.
He's a good all rounder as well. So that is why I don't see a Sundar coming in.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's
um
see how things unfold. We'll learn soon in terms of who the playing 11 would be. And also,
mhm.
one of the things I hope they're obviously looking into the future as well. 2026, there's another T20 World Cup. So, whatever they're doing right now, and obviously over the next like 18 months, would obviously give us some insight in terms of like, what that squad would look like for the next World Cup. But before we close off, right, any one player you think should have been in the squad that hasn't made it? Just one player that you were surprised
um
he wasn't picked for whatever reasons. It could be resting him, or it could be form, or it could be something else outside, obviously, Gaikwad and Jaiswal that we already discussed.
Bumrah.
Bumrah, obviously, we know,
yeah,
he's just
he has
coming
a
back off the
he,
Test series. Yeah,
Nah,
I'm just surprised not to see Rishabh Pant in the squad, right? And Shreyas Iyer as well.
Yeah, Pant.
Both of them.
I mean, when I was making the, I was my playing 11. I thought
Mhm.
Pant was there, and I had him. But then I looked at the squad, and then he wasn't even in the squad. So
I think so. They've rested him.
Yeah, I
And
believe so. He's rested. But
he's
how
going to
about
come in the ODI.
but the
yeah,
thing
the
with Pant is, I mean,
Mhm.
neither he nor Sanchez is gonna bowl, right? So one and the rest of the time, like Punk was mentioning as well, that it's filled with batsmen who can
all-rounders.
bowl and bowlers who
Yeah.
can bat. So
Mhm.
So, like if we have that World Cups, then you have two wicket keepers, and Samson and Pant both are going to go. Yeah.
Sure.
And
Mhm.
based
yeah, in the
on,
squad, yeah.
yeah,
But
so
you also
I'm
have
talking about like
Jurel,
T20
right, in
World
the
Cup.
current squad. So I don't know what
I
happens to
don't say
Jurel then,
Virel,
making the
you know,
T20 World Cup.
yeah. So it depends
I
how
mean,
Samson performs over the
Mhm.
next quarter.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean,
so
Samsung is their opening, right? But
Mhm.
yeah,
Pant and Jurel, they can.
they can bat
Um,
middle order. So
yeah.
if they're
Yeah.
in the middle order, right? So and
Mhm.
Samson can also like field as well. So there could be an opportunity that maybe Samson opens as a professional opener, right?
Mhm.
And Pant comes in, and then somebody from that team, one of
Mhm.
them would drop out, maybe a Rinku Singh or somebody, and Pant plays because Pant has that experience of playing in the middle order and hitting those long sixes. So that could be like near future, but as of now, I see this team they will continue, and it
Mhm.
also depends over the next 1 year. How the openers perform.
Yeah.
Right, you have like really good openers. If Abhishek goes in
Mhm.
and if he performs what he's done for Hyderabad, then
Mhm.
God saves the other teams.
I
Mhm.
really hope he performs. I would
I'm,
like
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
to.
It's about
telling you,
time, to be
Yeah,
honest, in my
it's
opinion.
about
Yeah,
time,
it's about
and
time.
I would
he's
like a
multi-skill
player
as well.
like that to be in the lineup.
Yeah,
The
he's
opposition should fear
multi-skilled.
him.
He can spin the ball as well. He's got
Mhm.
that. So it's a good. After a long time, we got a opener who can actually bowl as well.
Mhm.
So I would love to see him, and this is not like part-time bowling or something. He's a good
Yeah, yeah,
bowler.
yeah,
So if
absolutely.
he goes, and having somebody like that,
Mhm.
brilliant for India, man.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see how things unfold. Maybe on that note, we're gonna close out today's session, and we'll probably start shifting focus onto ODI squad as we kind of move forward in the next couple of days. But yeah, thank you for your time. I appreciate your opinions, and again for the viewers and whoever's like following our podcast and stuff, it's just our opinions. It's nothing against any fans or players or anything. It's just like friendly banter and kind of sharing our thoughts on the squads and obviously every other news that we kind of made onto the socials. Thank you. Have a good night. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.